Laser Levers, this is SuperZomGBBQ, and fresh off the heels of the best and worst in Neon and Gothic, we are now going to cover off the Shattered tier. And thank you so much for the support on the previous videos. We have had an amazing Season 5 so far. Let's keep it going. And if you want to see more of these top best and worst lists, top 10, bottom 10, etc., I want you to smash that like button as hard as you possibly can. Subscribe to the channel and turn notifications on if you like what you see. We are going to go through the entire list of best to worst in Shattered tier. And there are some very interesting names. And it should give you an idea, if you're aiming to get to Shattered, this will give you an idea of when those undercards are going to start popping up in events. Before we get started, if you want to go and check out the Neon and Gothic best and worst, I'll link it up into the top right hand side for you and in the description below. Let's not waste any time. We are going to go to the bottom of the females list. We're going to start off with Brie Bella. At this point, I swear Brie Bella's included just because her sister's included. Seriously, she came back, did a big thing with Ronda Rousey, and now she's disappeared again. Now she's doing all the events. If they're going to put her in, at least make her slightly decent. Mandy Rose, you know, I'm surprised by that. Mandy Rose and then Sonya Deville being the last, I personally would have pushed them up a little bit. I don't understand why Nikki Cross is higher in this list. She hasn't won a title since she's been in NXT, and whilst she's a great character, I personally would have put her down lower. And personally, I would have put down Carmella down there with Brie Bella if we're talking about, you know, pure wrestling ability. That's not saying I don't like Carmella, but, you know, she's better for dance breaks than she is for wrestling. Let's move on before I trigger in enough people. We're going to move upwards, and this is just outside the bottom three. These two are really surprising. Sasha Banks. What? Nikki Bella is above Sasha Banks. Nia Jax is above Sasha Banks. Are you kidding me? Bayley then comes in just above. So that's not surprising because they're in a tag team, and it's likely they're going to be the first ever tag team champions for the women's division when that happens. Nikki Cross, though, does tie with Bayley. Again, I would move her to the bottom three. Just until she gets really embedded into WWE or she becomes the NXT Women's Champion. Nia Jax just above that, followed by Nikki Bella herself. How's your arm, Nikki? It's not that I dislike Nikki Bella, but she got her ass handed to her by Ronda Rousey. You would have expected her to be a little bit lower, especially as she shows up less times than John Cena, and you can't even see him. Carmella then comes in. Again, I personally would have moved Carmella downwards. Paige and Shayna Baszler, though. Great choice, great positioning. Would I have put Paige a little bit higher if we're going to the top three? I'm not sure. Given that Paige effectively is now a legend, I would have put her up at the top with the two people who are the best in the tier. But just my opinion. And I'm obviously biased because I'm British and so is she. So it's nice to know that I also have one of the best females in the tier. I've got Shayna Baszler, and it's nice to see Paige up there as well. As we move on to number 2, and this isn't particularly surprising, even though Alexa Bliss is out injured at the moment, as we speak right now, Alexa Bliss and Charlotte Flair occupied at second place because they are totally inferior to the people who are at the top, and personally, I think the man should be the best in the tier. But Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch, with two possibly the best images I've seen in the game, are occupying that number 1 spot. But I want to know what your comments are, because I think this is the most controversial female list I've seen. I also think there should have been more females in this list as being the top tier, so it makes it easier for people to get those cards. But what can you do? My personal favourite is Becky Lynch, and it's always going to be Becky Lynch. Although, having it like this, it means that Becky Lynch and Charlotte Flair are a perfect tag. Ronda Rousey and Alexa Bliss are a perfect tag. So there's no best tag to have in the tier. Now we move on to the men in Shattered tier, and I have to say, I think there was a lot of indecision when ranking these cards, and you're going to find out why as we go to the bottom 10. And I'm going to say straight off, this is not cool. Matt Hardy is in the bottom 10. Maybe they've done it for balance or something, but me personally, I would never put Matt Hardy in the bottom 10. Considering where Jeff Hardy is, I think Matt Hardy's made more of an impact since coming back. The only thing really that I remember Jeff Hardy for, is other than the Swanton Bombs, is his feud with Randy Orton, and Randy Orton kicked his ass. I'm not saying I don't like Jeff Hardy, I love Jeff Hardy, but I would have preferred that to be a little bit higher. As we move down to 9th worst, Bobby Roode, Carl Anderson and Tyler Bate. I think it's unfair for Carl Anderson and Tyler Bate to be associated with the WWE's version of Bobby Roode, because the NXT version of that character was so much better. This one I can't get my head around. Cesaro? And Luke Gallows? Really, Cesaro? You'd put him that though? Moving on to Hanson, Harper and Johnny Gargano. That's not really surprising given the ranking in the previous tiers. Elias and Trent 7. Personally, I think Elias should be way higher. Baron Corbin. They really don't like Constable Corbin in this game. Rowe then comes in at 4th worst. Rowan, again, what's with Harper and Rowan being so low in the tier? Chad Gable. You know, based on pure wrestling ability, the guy shouldn't be that low. Drew Gulak, though, and Lars Sullivan, surprised by that, are occupying that last place. The dreaded last place is covered by Drew Gulak and Lars Sullivan. I wonder how Lars Sullivan feels about that. We might see a freak accident at Cat Daddy Studios. Moving outside the top 10, though, we've got Jimmy Uso, Rusev, and Sheamus occupying the 11th worst. But as we go up, we're not going to number these. The next ranking up is Bobby Fish, Bobby Lashley, Jey Uso, Kyle O'Reilly, and Roderick Strong. As I said, I think they were ranking this, and they couldn't make a decision as to where to put certain cards. It's almost like they couldn't decide. EC3 and The Miz. The Miz should be way higher than that, but whatever. Andrade Cien Almas and Pete Dunne, I'd say that's fair. Velveteen Dream, about mid-tier. Big E, Xavier Woods. And here's the big one. Occupying the next slot, Adam Cole, Cedric Alexander, Dolph Ziggler, Kevin Owens, Kofi Kingston, and Samoa Joe. 6 people in one space, and it doesn't stop there. Ricochet and Shinsuke Nakamura are level in the tier. Buddy Murphy, yes, Buddy Murphy, Drew McIntyre and Jeff Hardy are the same. Maybe I'm biased, but I wouldn't put Jeff that high up. And I would certainly put Drew McIntyre high up. I'd say that's fair for Buddy Murphy. But I am a big fan of Buddy Murphy. Daniel Bryan then occupies just outside the top 10, proving he is just a B+ player. Sorry, I had to go back to that. Number 10 though, top 10. Some interesting names, and one person at the top, which I think is a little bit, I don't know, it's a bit of a burial. Probably get my drift. Let's go. Dean Ambrose, number 10. Seth Rollins, number 9. Really? Dude, Seth Rollins needs to be way up that list. Dean Ambrose needs to be outside the top 10, because if it's now, it's accurate. If it's beforehand, yikes. Tommaso Ciampa, great to see the NXT champion and the greatest sports entertainer of all time in the top 10. Just below Goldberg. I'm surprised Goldberg's that low. Braun Strowman then comes in at the 6th. 5th, Aleister Black, Rey Mysterio. Equal points. Make of that what you will. Brock Lesnar comes in at number 4, and I'm actually surprised he's so low down. John Cena and Roman Reigns, well, that's kind of to be expected. At number 3, Randy Orton and Steve Austin. Now, Randy Orton being this high up, I love. But should he be that high up now? If we're talking across his career, absolutely. If we're talking right now, he should probably be mid to upper. But Steve Austin and him are on the same, that's great. You've got the Viper and the Rattlesnake in the same level. And then coming up to the top here now, if you're going back to Neon and Gothic tier, this set of 3 superstars would probably be your number 1. And that is AJ Styles, The Rock, and The Undertaker. But they are not number 1. No! Because a certain Triple H is number 1. He's taken his golden shovel and buried every single person in this list under his might. The game has definitely been played, and as much as I hate to say it, he's the best in the tier. That is the best and worst of Shatter Tier and the females. I want to know what your thoughts are in the comment section below. Most importantly, I want to know what your opinion is on some of the surprising names that are in the top and the bottom. I know we don't make the rankings, and overall it really doesn't matter. Anyway, I've been SuperZombieGBBQ. You have been awesome. I can't wait to see what the next tier comes out in SuperCard. But if you want to check out the best and worst of Neon tier and Gothic tier, you want to be clicking the link that's just down below, or alternatively, wait until the end of the video and clicking it then. But if you like what you saw, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel, turn notifications on, and I will see you in the next one.
Take it away!